Hey, Nicole, how you doing? Excuse me. I've got your file lined up right here, and I just want to go through it. I want to thank you for doing such a thorough job in getting this the final um, presentation before you turn in your final. This has come a long way, and you've worked very hard, and I think it's really obvious that you're hungry, and that you have a nice drive to be involved in design. And I can see that after spending a couple weeks with you. So the idea is to get us to be able to put that forth, that kind of, um, that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? That sort of drive and desire, that sort of passion into an immediate reaction when the viewer looks at your work. And I think we're just about there. I have a couple of suggestions. Good job here um, with your NM designs or design. That's much better. Uh, I really enjoy your cover letter. I think it's done. It's so versatile the way that you've done it. My only suggestion with your cover letter is the way that you've got your playing field, as it were, design. And I want to show you something. It's going to Command R here. That's going to bring up my rulers where I can pull out a guide. I'm going to pull out a guide to the end of that thing right there. And you can see how we're kind of weirdly aligned. So if I move that guy, I have a feeling we're going to line up with the N. And yes, we do. Which leaves this guy kind of dangling off the edge here. My suggestion is this. I suggest you forget this alignment here altogether, and you do this. You pull this NM design in and you align that with your address down here, okay? That will kind of shrink the playing field automatically. Then just take the live area of your page and just make it like that. Just like something like that. You don't have to I've noticed this tendency in your work that you want to push your design all the way to the corners and the edges of the page. And you just really don't want to do that. You just want to give your work a little bit of a resting area, a little bit of a breathing area, so to speak. And I think that's going to do it here with both this and especially this, because this is just like, it's almost daunting to look at it because the first thing the viewer looks at is, oh, God, it looks like I got to read that. And it's not that it's that much information, it's just that the way it's presented. My suggestion here is to make your playing field, do the same thing, be that same playing field before it was defined. And then just pull everything in here. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take this alignment, do this. For example, this is really confusing right here. Like, is this the same company? Is this all the same company you've been working for? Because you have Hyatt Corporation, Hyatt Regency, the Driscoll. Then over here you have the Driscoll. And it's just really super confusing. So just, you know what, if you've worked for the same company for 10, 12 years, or 11, 5 or 6 years, go ahead and use it as one company. Okay, and then just use the different jobs. So in other words, if you've worked for the Hyatt Corporation since 2011 or 2009, go ahead and say so, but then say, your current position is a social media coordinator. Then before that, it was a guest reception associate. Then before that, it was a catering coordinator. And I think that shows very clearly that you worked your way up in that business and that you are now involved in what your desire is, and that's design. So the formula's here. It's right here in front of us, and this is awesome. Look, promotion opportunities through online research, compose press releases, key on that, all right? Look, as well as anyone that this whole marketing and selling of yourself and this whole resume and this whole business is kind of like one big polished lie. And I'm not saying that. It's one big polished embellishment of ourselves. We all know that. We all understand that. That's why it's perfectly okay to key on something like this, compose press releases, and maybe follow it up with marketing on upcoming and up. But compose press releases, that means that you did design work, okay? I want everything here to be directed, involved, somehow related to design, all right? Now, if you have to embellish, but don't lie, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. You can be, this is a creative field. Be creative. We all do it. This looks much better, but you have your old design on the front. Okay, let's get that changed. I would go, you know what, why introduce a color background right now? Why don't you just use that right on the front? Okay. I mean, I don't know, man. This looks like it's been stretched. It might be the way this PDF is rendering, but did you stretch that M and M anyhow, anyway? Maybe it just might be the rendering, but this is just perfect. I really think this is good because you can stretch it any length that you want to accommodate the type. The color kind of draws a nice association, anchoring the page and giving the viewer a bit of an association with you. I don't know. Why don't you just put lines between there instead of putting this in a box? Section 1, a few little pixels of a space and a line, just a vertical rule. Try it. It might look much better. I think it will. Anyway, you got a couple of things going on here that I noticed. Where was that? You had some alignment issues, and here they are right here. And I want to show you something. Remember, I said define a consistent playing area and stay with it. The thing with using a grid is if you make a 4-column grid and only use 2 columns, mathematically it's still correct. If you have a 12-column grid and you place items and anything in a derivative of 12, in a multiple of 12, I mean, you got 12 columns that you can use. If you place things correctly, mathematically, they'll all work out, okay? Take a look at this right here. I'm not going to pull a guide out, but I'm going to do something just as effective. I'm going to take this little edge right here, and I'm going to hold it to the edge of your page down here, the Yates page, or the Keats. That's the edge, and you can see where that doesn't align up there. So you're just that much off. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. And then these aren't aligning over there. Okay, and then this is what I was talking about. If this is like a 5-column grid, this would work because everything would be aligned here, and there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see what I'm saying? But the way this doesn't mathematically add up because this set of sketches ends right here instead of all the way to the end of where your playing field is. Do you see what I'm saying? And just make sure that all of this falls, and let's just use a 12-column grid, for example. Let's say 12 by 12, horizontal, vertical. And just make sure that those fit in. Try it. It's a wonderful technique. It needs to. By the way, your work doesn't have to be so large on the page. There's no reason and that's kind of what I was saying before about you have this tendency to want to push your work to the edges of the page, and I'm seeing that over here. Boom! Look how big that is, and how big that is, and how big that is, and how big that is. It's like looks like you're almost wanting to maximize the size of the piece and put it on the page. Show that you know what white space is, and you know how to use it. Okay, that should get you through, man. You're rock solid here, but you got a little work to do. So, and not much time to do it. I think we're due final very soon. But anyway, awesome job, good job, great class. Enjoyed having you. All right, any problems, questions, comments, concerns, or other? You know where I'm at. Give me a holler. All right, thanks, Nicole. Good job.